So they go to these places, they get the ballots, and then
Wait, to be clear though, because you actually show the map in the movie, you show them actually going to these places before they're doing the drop-off, actually.
Yeah, not only that, but once they go to 3 or 4 drop boxes, they need to get more ballots. So they go right back to the organization, sort of replenish, and then they continue. Now, it's important to say why they do this, because you'd think, wait a minute, if a mule is dumping 300 ballots, why don't you go to one drop box and just unload them, save yourself a whole bunch of trouble? Well, the reason is that the next morning, the election officials open these drop boxes, and let's say the typical drop box has like 80 ballots, and then this one drop box has like 700 ballots. You'd know right away something is up. So the mules are instructed not to do that. They drop 5 ballots here, 8 ballots there. That's why they go on these routes, and that, of course, makes them easier to track. The reason the True the Vote's research, I think, is so powerful here is they set such a high bar, 10 or more drop boxes. Because see, let's say that they had set a bar of 2 drop boxes. Now, nobody has a reason to go to 2. Even if you have your family members' ballots, you're going to go put them in one drop box. But some guy was going to come forward and say, well, you know what, I put my ballots in the first box, I had to tie my shoe at the second box, so you're calling me a mule, I'm not a mule. So instead of all this nonsense, set a bar of 10 or more drop boxes. Let's remember that this isn't the post office. This isn't where you go to drop your bills off. These are only for ballots. There's no other reason to go to these drop boxes other than to dump ballots. And why would you go to 10 or more drop boxes unless you were stuffing them with ballots? So that's the sort of technological reasoning behind the power of the geo-tracking evidence. Now, I wish we had more video, but True the Vote does have 4 million minutes of video. So they have a lot, but unfortunately, a lot of drop boxes don't have video. Well, here's the key point. I mean, obviously, you're right. Some of these mules are visible. You can see their face, and they can be recognized that way. But the more important thing is that True the Vote has the cell phone IDs of all the mules, all the 2,000 mules. So when you track a cell phone, each cell phone has a unique kind of digital fingerprint, the cell phone ID. Each cell phone has only one ID. And it's about as good technologically as having, you know, a human fingerprint or even human DNA. It has the same degree of reliability. Now, interestingly, True the Vote doesn't have the names of these mules, but law enforcement, they unmask these cell phones all the time. So unmasking simply means you go to a judge, you say, hey, listen, I've got these guys at 10 or more drop boxes, so I have probable cause. The judge goes, here's a warrant. You go to the cell phone provider, they give you the names of all the mules, and then you go interview them, you know, who paid you, who put you up to it, and so on.
I know for a fact there was illegal activity going on there. People have pictures of people. I know for a fact there was illegal activity going on there. People have pictures of people carrying ballots out of that place. There is pictures of vans full of ballots coming out of that place. These Democrats took every avenue possible to commit fraud in this election. The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off by 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000. That poll book, why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom
0.
of this here.
I called the FBI
okay.
on the 8th, November 8th. I talked to 2 separate women, over 40 minutes. The first one, gave her all my information. The phone mysteriously cut out, and she never called me back. I was waiting for her to call me back. She never called me back. I had to call them back, and they never called me back. Never got a call back. Guess what? There's going to be a couple behind me that are going to say the same thing I just said.
Is it that we're not having more people come forward? I mean, it seems like if there was all this widespread fraud, that, you know, we'd have dozens and dozens of people.
I'll tell you why. My life has been destroyed. My life has been completely destroyed because of this. I've lost family. I've lost friends. I've been threatened. My kids have been threatened. I've had to move. I've had to change my phone number. I've had to get rid of social media. Nobody wants to come forward. They're getting threatened. Their lives are getting ruined. I can't even get an actual job anymore. I can't. Because Democrats like to ruin your lives. That's why.
All right.
I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Okay. Did you?
Okay,
in front of you that you observed were counted multiple times in the machine? Can you put a number to it, an estimated number?
At least 30,000.
At least 30,000.
This isn't counting, the ballots that are found in rivers, the ballots found under rocks. I had called my manager over to a specific tabulating machine. At that point, I was just really frustrated and upset. I could tell what was going on. I knew what was going on at that point.
Looks like one of those lock boxes. I wish I could tell. Where does this little guy come from so late at night? I think all the polling places were closed.